You think Christmas cooking in the 1950s meant hours of labor? Think again. Grandmothers kept secret weapons, lightning-fast treats that wowed guests without stealing precious holiday hours. Here are 30 forgotten 10-minute Christmas recipes you could only find in old cookbooks. Divinity fudge was once the crown jewel of Christmas candy plates, whipped into snowy peaks that melted on tongues within minutes. Grandmothers heated corn syrup and sugar to softball stage while egg whites stiffened, then combined both into glossy clouds flavored with vanilla and studded with pecans. The mixture was dropped by spoonfuls onto waxed paper, forming irregular peaks that hardened quickly. Within 10 minutes, the candy transformed into sweet, airy confections that dissolved in your mouth. During the 1950s, Divinity appeared at every church social, made by women who understood impressive didn't require hours. The recipe demanded attention to weather. Humid days spelled disaster. But on crisp December afternoons, Divinity came together like magic. Children watched as glossy mixture transformed from liquid to solid. What made Divinity remarkable was how something delicate and beautiful emerged from rapid preparation, proving Christmas elegance could happen in moments. Date roll candy transformed humble ingredients into sophisticated Christmas treats that looked professional but came together in under 10 minutes. Marshmallows melted with butter while chopped dates and nuts waited, then everything combined into sticky mixtures rolled in graham cracker crumbs or coconut. The warm candy shaped quickly into logs wrapped in waxed paper and chilled until firm enough to slice into perfect rounds. Each slice revealed swirls of dates suspended in creamy marshmallow, creating patterns too pretty to eat. In the 1960s, date rolls appeared on every holiday tray, made by mothers who appreciated maximum impact with minimal effort. The candy kept well refrigerated, perfect for unexpected guests. Children loved helping roll the warm candy, hands sticky with marshmallow and crumbs. What made date rolls special was how they balanced sweetness with earthy richness of dates, creating complexity that belied simple preparation. Peppermint bark, before it became trendy, was a grandmother's quick Christmas miracle. Melted chocolate layered with crushed candy canes that hardened into festive shards within minutes. Dark chocolate melted in double boilers, while candy canes were smashed with rolling pins, creating peppermint dust that sparkled like snow. The chocolate spread thin on waxed paper, immediately topped with peppermint pieces, then left to harden. Once solid, the bark broke into irregular pieces, each bite delivering chocolate richness cut by mint brightness. During the 1950s, this recipe appeared in church cookbooks as the ultimate last-minute treat, perfect for gifts or unexpected visitors. The beauty was simplicity. No thermometers, just melting and sprinkling that children could help with. Families made batch after batch, packaging pieces in cellophane bags with ribbons, creating gifts that cost pennies but felt generous. What made peppermint bark endure was how it captured Christmas in every bite without requiring expertise. Coconut bonbons were 10-minute wonders that transformed sweetened condensed milk and coconut into elegant candies worthy of fancy boxes. The mixture came together with just stirring. Condensed milk, shredded coconut, powdered sugar, and vanilla blended until stiff, then rolled into balls. Within minutes, trays of perfect spheres lined counters, each one a bite-sized indulgence that melted creamy sweet on the tongue. Some grandmothers added food coloring, creating pink and green bonbons that looked store-bought, while others studded centers with cherry pieces or nuts. In the 1960s, these candies appeared in decorative tins given as hostess gifts. The recipe required no cooking, no thermometers, just hands and willingness to get sticky. Children fought over scraping the bowl, and candies kept for weeks when stored properly. What made coconut bonbons special was how they delivered richness without heaviness, sweetness without cloying, creating perfect bites that satisfied completely. Rum balls were the grown-up Christmas candy that came together in minutes, combining crushed vanilla wafers with cocoa, corn syrup, and dark rum that gave them sophistication. Everything mixed in one bowl, cookie crumbs, sugar, cocoa, nuts, and rum to bind it, then rolled into spheres and coated in powdered sugar. The mixture needed no baking or cooking beyond brief shaping time. Within 10 minutes, elegant candies sat ready, their boozy edge making them decidedly adult treats. During the 1950s, rum balls were cocktail party staples, made by hostesses who appreciated recipes that impressed without demanding kitchen time. The flavor deepened if stored a day or two as rum penetrated deeper into wafer crumbs, creating richness that seemed impossible from quick preparation. Men particularly loved these, appreciating the rum kick that set them apart from sugary confections. What made rum balls remarkable was how they brought bar cart sophistication to the cookie tray. Cherry mash candy was a sweet tart miracle that happened in minutes, combining maraschino cherries with peanut butter and chocolate coating. The cherries were drained and chopped fine, then mixed with peanut butter and powdered sugar until stiff enough to form into small mounds. These centers were chilled briefly while chocolate melted, then each piece was dipped and set to harden. Within 10 minutes, dozens of candies sat ready, their bright red centers peeking through dark chocolate shells. During the 1960s, cherry mash appeared at Christmas parties and church bazaars, made by women who appreciated how store-bought elegance emerged from pantry staples. The combination of sweet cherries, creamy peanut butter, and rich chocolate created flavor complexity that seemed impossible from such quick assembly. Children loved the surprise of cherry bursts. What made cherry mash special was how it transformed canned fruit into something that looked and tasted professionally made. Butterscotch haystacks were 10-minute marvels that combined melted butterscotch chips with crispy chow mein noodles, creating crunchy clusters that looked complicated but required only stirring. The butterscotch melted while noodles waited in bowls. Then everything folded together until each strand was coated in golden sweetness. Spooned quickly onto waxed paper, the mixture hardened into tangled nests that crunched satisfyingly between teeth. Some grandmothers added peanuts or coconut for extra texture. In the 1950s, these haystacks appeared on every Christmas tray, made by mothers who understood that impressive didn't require culinary skill. The recipe was foolproof. If you could melt and stir, you could make haystacks. Children loved shaping the warm clusters, racing to form them before butterscotch hardened. What made haystacks remarkable was texture contrast. Smooth butterscotch against crunchy noodles creating endless interest. Peanut butter fudge without cooking was a revelation to busy holiday bakers, creamy squares that came together with just stirring and set firm without thermometers or candy stages. Peanut butter blended with softened butter until smooth, then powdered sugar folded in gradually until the mixture became thick and fudge-like. This was pressed into pans, scored into squares, and chilled briefly until firm enough to cut. Within 10 minutes of mixing, the fudge sat ready, its rich peanut flavor balanced by just enough sweetness. During the 1960s, this recipe circulated through church groups and neighborhood coffee klatches shared by women who valued reliable results. The fudge kept for weeks in tins, making it perfect for gift-giving or keeping on hand for unexpected guests. Children helped measure and stir, learning that candy making didn't require mystery or danger. What made this fudge special was how it delivered authentic candy shop richness through nothing more than vigorous stirring and patience. Chocolate-covered pretzels turned salty snacks into Christmas confections within minutes, the sweet-salty combination creating addictive treats that disappeared as fast as they were made. Chocolate melted while pretzel rods or twists waited on trays, then each pretzel was dipped halfway and set to harden. Some bakers rolled the wet chocolate in crushed candy canes, nuts, or colored sprinkles, creating decorated treats that looked bakery-bought. Within 10 minutes, dozens of pretzels stood ready, their chocolate coatings glossy and firm. During the 1950s, these appeared at school parties and neighborhood exchanges. The chocolate-salt contrast was irresistible, each bite delivering both satisfaction and craving for another. Men particularly loved these, appreciating the masculine edge of pretzels, elevated by chocolate sweetness. What made chocolate pretzels endure was simplicity meeting sophistication, proving Christmas treats could be both easy and impressive. Tiger butter combined white and dark chocolate in swirled patterns that looked like exotic candy but came together in under 10 minutes with just melting and stirring. White chocolate melted smooth while peanut butter stirred in. Then this mixture poured onto pans and semi-sweet chocolate drizzled over top. A knife pulled through both layers created marbled swirls that looked professional. The result was stunning, golden brown tiger stripes against creamy white, each piece unique in its pattern. During the 1960s, tiger butter impressed at parties and made memorable gifts. The flavor combination was perfect. Sweet white chocolate, nutty peanut butter, and rich dark chocolate creating layers of taste in every bite. Children marveled at the patterns, trying to guess which pieces had the best swirls. What made tiger butter special was how something so beautiful emerged from simple technique, proving that elegance came from creativity, not complexity. Peanut clusters were the ultimate lazy Christmas candy, combining melted chocolate with salted peanuts in ratios that required no measuring, just pouring and stirring. Chocolate chips melted while peanuts waited, then everything mixed together and spooned onto waxed paper in rough mounds. Within minutes, the clusters hardened, their irregular shapes looking charmingly homemade. Some families used milk chocolate, others preferred semi-sweet, and adventurous cooks mixed both for complexity. During the 1950s, peanut clusters appeared in every candy dish, made by women who appreciated foolproof recipes. The salty-sweet combination was addictive, each cluster delivering chocolate richness interrupted by crunchy peanut bursts. Men particularly loved these, often eating several while standing at the counter. Children helped spoon the mixture, competing to make the biggest clusters. What made peanut clusters endure was their honesty. No pretense, just chocolate and nuts combined into something genuinely delicious. Marshmallow Pops transformed plain marshmallows into festive Christmas treats within minutes, dipped in chocolate and rolled in crushed candies or sprinkles. Large marshmallows were skewered on lollipop sticks while chocolate melted, then each one was dipped and immediately rolled in toppings before chocolate set. The result was adorable, little spheres decorated in red and green, standing upright in styrofoam blocks to dry. Within 10 minutes, dozens of pops stood ready for gift bags or party favors. During the 1960s, these appeared at school parties and church events, made by mothers who needed crowd-pleasing treats fast. Children loved making them, choosing their own topping combinations and creating patterns with sprinkles. The marshmallow stayed soft inside while chocolate provided satisfying crunch. What made Marshmallow Pops special was how they transformed basic ingredients into something that looked store-bought, proving that Christmas magic came from creativity, not complexity. Candied orange peel was sophisticated confection that seemed to require expertise but came together in minutes using just boiling and dipping. Orange peels were cut into strips and boiled briefly to remove bitterness, then tossed in sugar while still warm until coated thickly. Some grandmothers dipped one end in melted chocolate, creating elegant two-tone treats. The result was sweet, bitter, bright, each strip delivering concentrated citrus flavor with gentle resistance between teeth. During the 1950s, candied peel appeared in decorative tins given as gifts, made by women who appreciated European elegance on American budgets. The recipe required oranges that cost pennies and sugar already in the pantry. Children helped cut peels into strips, learning that fancy didn't mean expensive. The peel kept for weeks in covered containers, improving with age as flavors deepened. What made candied orange peel remarkable was sophistication from simplicity, proving Christmas treats could be both quick and genuinely refined. Rocky Road squares combined marshmallows, nuts, and chocolate in layered bars that looked bakery-made but required no baking, just melting and pressing. Chocolate chips melted with butter while mini marshmallows and chopped walnuts waited in bowls, then everything folded together and pressed into pans. The mixture was refrigerated briefly until firm, then cut into neat squares that showed marbled patterns of white marshmallow against dark chocolate. Each bite delivered multiple textures: creamy chocolate, chewy marshmallow, crunchy nuts. During the 1960s, Rocky Road appeared at cookie exchanges and potlucks, made by women who understood layered treats impressed guests. The recipe was forgiving, working with whatever nuts were available and any chocolate variety. Children loved the marshmallow surprise, pulling squares apart to find hidden pockets. What made Rocky Road special was visual interest. Every square looked different, creating variety from consistent recipe. Cinnamon Toast Almonds turned plain nuts into addictive Christmas snacks through nothing more than tossing with egg whites, sugar, and spice. Egg whites were whisked foamy while almonds, sugar, and cinnamon mixed in separate bowls, then everything combined until nuts glistened with sweet coating. These were spread on baking sheets and baked briefly until fragrant and crispy. Within 10 minutes of prep, the almonds sat ready. Their sugary coating hardened into crunchy shells. During the 1950s, these appeared in decorative jars and candy dishes made by hostesses who appreciated how elegant they looked. The cinnamon sugar coating was sweet but not overwhelming, letting almond flavor shine through. Men particularly loved these, eating handfuls while watching television or reading newspapers. Children helped mix nuts with coating, shaking bowls vigorously to distribute sugar evenly. What made cinnamon almonds endure was how simple ingredients created sophisticated snacking, proving quick could also mean impressive. Christmas Crunch candy combined saltine crackers with toffee coating in minutes, creating addictive, sweet salty treats that disappeared faster than they were made. Crackers lined baking sheets while butter and brown sugar boiled together, then this bubbling mixture poured over crackers and baked briefly. Chocolate chips scattered over hot toffee melted instantly, spreading smooth with knife strokes. Then the whole sheet was chilled. Once hardened, the candy broke into irregular shards, each one delivering crunch followed by chocolate smoothness. During the 1960s, this appeared at every party, made by women who appreciated how crackers transformed into elegant confection. The recipe was foolproof and infinitely variable. Different chocolates, added nuts, or sprinkles created endless versions. Children loved breaking sheets into pieces, competing to create the biggest shards. What made Christmas Crunch remarkable was how humble crackers became sophisticated candy through simple technique. Bourbon balls were cocktail hour sophistication in candy form, combining crushed vanilla wafers with pecans, cocoa, and enough bourbon to bind everything together richly. The mixture came together in bowls: wafer crumbs, chopped nuts, powdered sugar, cocoa, corn syrup, and bourbon stirred until uniform, then rolled into spheres and coated in sugar. No cooking, no baking, just mixing and shaping that took minutes. The bourbon flavor was pronounced but balanced by sweetness and nut richness. During the 1950s, bourbon balls appeared at adult gatherings, made by hostesses who understood that certain treats were decidedly grown up. The candies improved with storage as flavors melded, making them perfect for preparing ahead. Men appreciated the honest alcohol content, while women valued the sophisticated edge. What made bourbon balls special was how they brought bar cart elegance to candy trays, proving that Christmas treats could be both quick and refined. Chocolate peanut butter balls were the ultimate no-bake candy, combining creamy peanut butter with graham crumbs and powdered sugar, then coating everything in chocolate. The filling mixed in minutes. Peanut butter, butter, crumbs, and sugar stirred until firm, then rolled into perfect spheres and chilled while chocolate melted. Each ball was dipped quickly and set on waxed paper to harden, creating glossy candies that looked store-bought. The inside stayed creamy while outside provided satisfying snap. During the 1960s, these appeared in Christmas tins and gift boxes, made by mothers who appreciated how professional they looked despite simple preparation. Children fought over licking bowls and beaters, savoring every bit of peanut butter mixture. The candies kept for weeks when stored cool, making them perfect for early December baking. What made these endure was perfect balance: sweet chocolate against salty peanut butter, creating addictive combination. Meringue kisses were delicate clouds that seemed to require expertise but came together with just egg whites, sugar, and patience for brief baking. Egg whites whipped stiff while sugar added gradually, then vanilla stirred in and mixture piped onto parchment in small mounds. These baked low and slow until crisp outside but slightly chewy inside, creating texture contrast that delighted. Within 10 minutes of prep, dozens of kisses sat ready for oven. During the 1950s, meringues appeared at tea parties and ladies' luncheons made by women who valued elegant simplicity. The cookies were naturally gluten-free and fat-free, though nobody thought in those terms then. Children loved their sweetness and satisfying crunch. Some bakers added food coloring, creating pastel rainbows on cookie plates. What made meringue kisses special was how egg whites transformed into something magical, proving that Christmas elegance came from technique, not expense. Cornflake wreaths were festive treats that came together in minutes, combining green-tinted marshmallow mixture with cereal for crunchy cookies shaped like holiday decorations. Marshmallows melted with butter and green food coloring while cornflakes waited in bowls, then everything stirred together and shaped quickly into wreaths before mixture hardened. Red cinnamon candies pressed into wreaths became holly berries, completing the decoration. Within 10 minutes, dozens of wreaths sat ready, their bright green making cookie trays festive. During the 1960s, these appeared at school parties and church events, made by mothers who needed crowd-pleasing treats fast. Children loved shaping wreaths, working quickly before marshmallow cooled. The result was sweet, crunchy, and unmistakably Christmas. What made cornflake wreaths endure was how they captured holiday spirit in edible form, proving that festive didn't require hours of work. Peppermint patties were homemade versions of store candies, combining powdered sugar with peppermint extract and condensed milk into discs that got dipped in chocolate. The filling mixed quickly until moldable, then pressed into flat rounds and chilled while chocolate melted. Each patty was dipped and returned to waxed paper, creating glossy chocolates with cool mint centers. Within 10 minutes of mixing, the candies sat ready for coating. During the 1950s, these appeared in gift boxes and candy dishes, made by women who appreciated how homemade rivaled commercial versions. The peppermint flavor was fresh and bright, balanced by chocolate richness. Children loved the cool burst when biting through chocolate shells. The candies kept for weeks refrigerated, improving as flavors melded. What made peppermint patties special was how simple ingredients created sophisticated candy, proving that homemade could match store-bought quality. White chocolate cranberry clusters combined holiday colors and flavors in no-bake candies that looked elegant, but required only melting and stirring. White chocolate melted smooth while dried cranberries and chopped nuts waited, then everything folded together and spooned onto waxed paper in irregular mounds. The clusters hardened quickly, their red cranberries and brown nuts creating beautiful contrast against white chocolate. Each bite delivered sweetness interrupted by tart cranberry bursts and crunchy nut texture. During the 1960s, these appeared at parties and exchanges, made by hostesses who valued visual appeal. The recipe was endlessly adaptable. Different dried fruits or nut varieties created new combinations. Children helped spoon clusters, competing to make perfect shapes. What made these special was how they looked bakery-made despite 10-minute preparation, proving that impressive came from smart ingredient pairing. Toffee almond bark was sophisticated candy that seemed complicated but came together through simple layering of chocolate, toffee bits, and nuts. Chocolate melted and spread thin on pans while toffee pieces and almonds waited, then both scattered over wet chocolate and pressed gently. Once hardened, the bark broke into irregular pieces, each one delivering crunch, richness, and butterscotch notes. Within 10 minutes of active work, the candy sat ready for hardening. During the 1950s, this appeared in Christmas tins, made by women who understood that layered treats looked professional. The combination of textures made each bite interesting. Smooth chocolate, crunchy toffee, nutty almonds working together. Men particularly loved the masculine edge of toffee and nuts. What made almond bark endure was sophisticated flavor from simple technique, proving that elegance came from quality ingredients combined thoughtfully. Cream cheese mints were elegant confections that dissolved on tongues within minutes of being shaped, their pastel colors making candy dishes festive. Cream cheese softened while powdered sugar added gradually until mixture became stiff enough to shape. Then, peppermint extract and food coloring stirred in. The mixture was pressed into small molds or rolled into balls and flattened with forks, creating decorative shapes. Within 10 minutes, dozens of mints sat ready, their colors brightening any plate. During the 1960s, these appeared at weddings and formal gatherings, made by women who appreciated Victorian elegance on Depression budgets. The mints melted instantly in mouths, delivering cool peppermint without overwhelming sweetness. Children loved making them, choosing colors and pressing patterns. What made cream cheese mints special was sophistication from simplicity, proving that fancy didn't require fancy techniques. Chocolate-dipped strawberries were the quickest elegant dessert, transforming fresh fruit into sophisticated treats through nothing more than melting and dipping. Strawberries were washed and dried completely while chocolate melted, then each berry was dipped partially and set to harden on waxed paper. Some bakers drizzled white chocolate over dark for zebra stripes, creating visual interest. Within 10 minutes, dozens of berries sat ready, their glossy chocolate contrasting beautifully with red fruit. During the 1950s, these appeared at dinner parties and romantic evenings, made by hostesses who understood that simple could be stunning. The combination of sweet chocolate and tart strawberry was perfect, each bite delivering fruit freshness followed by chocolate richness. Children loved selecting the biggest berries for dipping. What made chocolate strawberries endure was how they elevated humble fruit into celebration-worthy treat through minimal effort. Peanut brittle without thermometers was liberation for busy bakers, combining peanuts with corn syrup and sugar in quick microwave bursts that created professional candy. The mixture microwaved in intervals with stirring between, then baking soda added created bubbles that made brittle light and crunchy. This poured onto buttered sheets and spread thin before hardening, then broke into golden shards. Within 10 minutes total time, the brittle sat ready, its butterscotch flavor perfectly balanced by peanut richness. During the 1960s, microwave brittle revolutionized candy making for women who appreciated modern shortcuts. The result rivaled traditional stovetop versions without requiring candy thermometers or precise timing. Children watched through microwave windows as bubbles formed and sugar transformed. What made this brittle special was how technology made intimidating candy accessible, proving that traditional results could come from modern methods. Graham cracker toffee was the ultimate quick candy, transforming simple crackers into buttery confection through brief baking with brown sugar mixture that bubbled and caramelized. Crackers lined pans while butter and sugar boiled together into rich toffee. Then this poured over crackers and baked until bubbling and golden. Once cooled completely, the sheet broke into pieces, each one delivering butterscotch richness with satisfying graham crunch underneath. Some bakers added chocolate layer for extra indulgence, creating triple texture treats. Within 10 minutes of prep, the candy sat ready for oven. During the 1950s, this appeared at bake sales and potlucks, made by mothers who needed impressive treats quickly. The recipe was foolproof. If you could boil and pour, you could make toffee. Children loved breaking sheets, creating irregular shards perfect for snacking. What made Graham toffee endure was transformation of ordinary crackers into extraordinary candy. Oreo truffles were modern classics that felt traditional, combining crushed cookies with cream cheese into balls that got coated in chocolate. The cookies were crushed fine and mixed with softened cream cheese until moldable, then rolled into spheres and chilled while chocolate melted. Each truffle was dipped and returned to waxed paper, creating glossy confections that looked professionally made. Within 10 minutes of mixing, the truffles sat ready for coating. During the 1960s, these appeared at gatherings, made by women who appreciated how store-bought cookies transformed into elegant candy. The inside stayed creamy while chocolate provided satisfying snap. Children helped crush cookies and roll balls, competing to make perfect spheres. What made Oreo truffles special was how familiar cookies became sophisticated confection, proving that creativity came from seeing potential in everyday ingredients. Maple walnut fudge was autumn meeting Christmas, combining maple syrup with walnuts in no-cook candy that came together through vigorous stirring. Maple syrup heated briefly while walnuts chopped, then powdered sugar added gradually to hot syrup with constant stirring until thick and creamy. This was poured into pans and studded with walnuts, then chilled until firm enough to cut. Within 10 minutes of active work, the fudge sat ready, its maple flavor deep and genuine. During the 1950s, this appeared during holidays, made by women who valued regional ingredients. The fudge was softer than traditional varieties, but just as satisfying, each piece delivering maple sweetness and walnut crunch. Children watched syrup transform into candy through nothing but stirring power. What made maple fudge special was how it captured season and place, proving that quick candy could still honor tradition. Chocolate-covered potato chips were the ultimate sweet, salty surprise, transforming snack food into Christmas confection that disappeared faster than anything else on the tray. Ridged chips were dipped in melted chocolate and set to harden on waxed paper, their irregular shapes creating interesting silhouettes. Some bakers added drizzles of white chocolate for decoration. Within 10 minutes, dozens of chips sat ready, their chocolate coatings glossy and firm. During the 1960s, these appeared at parties where they always generated conversation, made by hostesses who appreciated unexpected combinations. The salt-sweet contrast was addictive, each chip delivering crunch followed by chocolate richness. Men particularly loved these, often eating several before anyone else got near the plate. Children were initially skeptical, but became converts after first bites. What made chocolate chips endure was bold flavor pairing, proving that Christmas treats could challenge expectations while delivering pure satisfaction. Ritz cracker canapes were elegance on a budget, a chance for suburban hosts to feel like caterers. Each buttery round carried a crown of cream cheese, smoked salmon, or a slice of olive, perfectly portioned and camera-ready. The contrast of textures, crisp cracker, creamy spread, salty topping, was irresistible. They were arranged with precision on silver trays, sometimes sprinkled with paprika for flair. Even the simplest versions looked beautiful under twinkling lights. Guests would pick one up, laugh about how fancy they were, and reach for another. Ritz canapes were 1980s ingenuity at its best, small, smart, and endlessly adaptable. You could find them in every home, from modest kitchens to grand dining rooms, because they required nothing but imagination and a box of crackers. They proved that hospitality didn't need luxury, only love and a little cream cheese. Cherry Divinity wreaths were the kind of candy that felt almost too pretty to eat. Made from whipped sugar syrup and egg whites tinted a soft pink, they were piped into delicate circles and topped with bits of candied cherry to look like miniature wreaths. They dried to a crisp shell, glossy and perfect, the kind of treat meant to impress at church bake sales and family parties. Housewives of the 1950s prided themselves on these: the precision, the patience, the artistry. Every wreath was a little labor of love that demanded steady hands and careful timing. They were arranged on plates or strung with ribbon for decoration, part candy, part craft. Today's confections might be flashier, but few carry the charm of these pastel creations. They represented an age when food doubled as festivity, when every bite was shaped to bring beauty and joy to the table. Crab rangoon was a touch of exotic elegance in the 1980s suburbia, a golden fried triangle filled with cream cheese and imitation crab. It was the kind of dish that made people feel worldly, even if it came from the local supermarket freezer. Fried crisp and served on shiny platters, it crackled when bitten, revealing a creamy center that felt like luxury. The flavor was sweet, savory, and unfamiliar enough to spark conversation. Guests would nibble and nod, declaring it different but delicious. It symbolized a decade of culinary adventure, when American kitchens flirted with the flavors of the world without ever leaving home. The sound of laughter mixed with the crunch of pastry, and soon the platter would be empty, save for crumbs and conversation. Crab rangoon was the 1980s version of daring. A little risky, a little indulgent, and always worth remembering. Boiled custard was the quiet forerunner to eggnog, a drinkable dessert that once marked the start of every Southern Christmas gathering. It was rich, silky, and just thick enough to coat the spoon, made from milk, sugar, and eggs whisked gently over low heat until the kitchen filled with the sweet scent of vanilla and cream. Families served it chilled in tall glasses, often dusted with nutmeg or topped with a dollop of whipped cream. Before eggnog's spiced boldness stole the spotlight, boiled custard was the holiday's truest comfort. Simple, pure, and patient. Children sipped it alongside cookies, while adults added a splash of whiskey or rum for warmth. It was a dessert to linger over, slow and soothing, like a lullaby in liquid form. There was no rush in making it. Curdled eggs meant you had hurried, and haste was the enemy of good cooking. Today, few take the time to stir a custard by hand, but those who do say the first spoonful still feels like Christmas morning in a glass. Cranberry mold salad was the showstopper of the 1950s Thanksgiving table. Shimmering and jewel-toned, it was made from gelatin mixed with cranberry sauce, crushed pineapple, chopped nuts, and sometimes even celery for crunch. It wasn't just food, it was centerpiece art. Served in ring molds or glass bowls, it glistened under dining room lights like a ruby. Every bite was tart, sweet, and nostalgic, a perfect balance between dessert and salad. For housewives of the mid-century, it represented hospitality and creativity. Making it was a ritual, pouring, chilling, and unmolding with care. Over time, as homemade dishes gave way to simpler canned options, this wobbly wonder faded from holiday spreads. But in memory, it still sparkles, a reminder of an era when even salad dressed for the occasion. Cranberry mold salad was joy in solid form, a dish that truly shined at Thanksgiving. Morton salt in the blue canister was one of those items you never thought about but could not live without. Grandma kept one on every shelf, and somehow it was always half full. The little girl with the umbrella on the label felt like family by December. She used Morton salt for everything, for seasoning roasts, preserving nuts, and even brining meats days before Christmas dinner. It was her secret to perfect flavor, and she swore by its purity. A pinch here, a sprinkle there. It was the invisible hand behind every memorable dish. When the lid ran low, she would tap the canister and smile, saying it had just enough left. Morton salt was reliability in blue, the kind of quiet strength that held an entire kitchen together. Domino Confectioner's sugar box was the last touch of magic in Grandma's kitchen. The white box with blue lettering sat proudly on the counter, waiting for its moment. When she opened it, the air would fill with soft clouds of sugar dust, sparkling like frost. She used it for icing, for dusting bundt cakes, for snowing cookies with sweetness. It transformed ordinary desserts into something ethereal, light as air but full of joy. Grandma's hands would be dusted white by the end of the day, and she always laughed about looking like a snowman. Every Christmas treat she made wore that same finishing touch, a reminder that beauty and flavor could be simple. Domino sugar made everything feel a little more like winter wonder, a little more like home. The box itself became part of the tradition, its corners worn soft from years of use. She never measured it precisely, just let it fall like snow until it looked right. Even the way she sifted it was graceful, like watching someone wrap love in sweetness. Children would wait at the edge of the counter, hoping for the first taste of icing scraped from the bowl. That sugar was the finishing note of every memory, proof that small touches often meant the most. Grape salad with sour cream and brown sugar was the cool, unexpected elegance of a Midwest Thanksgiving. It appeared in the 1950s and 1960s when homemakers began experimenting with recipes that required no baking yet still dazzled at the table. Green and red grapes were washed, dried, and tossed in thick, tangy sour cream. A generous sprinkle of brown sugar melted slowly over the top, forming a delicate caramel-like crust as it chilled in the refrigerator. Sometimes crushed pecans or walnuts were added for a touch of crunch. Served in cut glass bowls, it shimmered like a dessert and tasted like one too, sweet, tart, and creamy all at once. It was the kind of dish that made guests pause mid-bite, surprised at how something so simple could taste so rich. It brought freshness to a meal often dominated by heaviness, a bright counterpoint to gravy and stuffing. For many, it was the first salad they ever truly loved. It fit perfectly into the era's fascination with sweet, savory blends and convenience cooking, beautiful without effort. Over the decades, it disappeared from most holiday tables, outshined by trendier desserts. Yet for those who remember, one spoonful of grape salad is enough to recall the laughter of long tables, clinking glasses, and the sweet ease of family gathered close. Ambrosia salad was the jewel of Southern Christmas tables, a shimmering bowl of citrus, coconut, and cream that felt like sunshine in winter. Sliced oranges, pineapple, and cherries were folded into whipped cream or sour cream layered with shredded coconut until it glowed. Every family had its own version. Some added marshmallows, others used gelatin, but all believed it brought brightness to the meal. Ambrosia was about celebration, abundance, and the joy of sharing. It was one of those dishes that looked too pretty to eat, its colors gleaming like stained glass under the dining room lights. Children would sneak spoonfuls before dinner, their fingers sticky with cream and sugar. Served in cut glass bowls, it stood proudly beside the turkey and ham, proof that fruit could feel like a feast. The recipe crossed generations, carrying whispers of grandmother's kitchens and Sunday suppers long past. Over time, it faded into nostalgia, dismissed as old-fashioned, but its spirit still lingers in every creamy fruit salad that comes after. It was sweet, tangy, and a little bit sentimental, just like Christmas itself. In its humble mix of flavors was a reminder that joy often hides in the simplest of bowls. Ham-wrapped asparagus spears brought elegance to 1980s Christmas parties without ever needing effort. Each stalk was blanched until tender, wrapped in a thin layer of salty ham, brushed with butter, and baked until the edges crisped. They looked delicate on silver trays, lined up like edible ornaments. You could find them at office parties with punch bowls and tinsel, or at church gatherings where casseroles filled every table. Guests would grab them two at a time, laughing as grease glistened on napkins. The combination was simple but powerful: the salty bite of ham, the earthiness of asparagus, the warmth of the oven. They were the kind of food that said, "grown up." Yet everyone from teenagers to grandmothers devoured them. Sometimes a drizzle of hollandaise turned them fancy. Sometimes just a sprinkle of black pepper made them shine. It was the decade's idea of effortless sophistication, refined but reachable. Every host who served them knew the secret. It was not about complexity, it was about confidence. Ham-wrapped asparagus spears were holiday charm on a plate, one perfect bite at a time, embodying the 1980s love for elegance that came straight from a can or freezer, yet somehow still felt like magic. Suet pudding was a relic from another century, dense, steamed, and spiced with memories of hearth and hardship. It came from the days when ovens were rare and every meal was slow-cooked with purpose. Housewives mixed suet, the rendered fat of beef or mutton, with molasses, dried fruit, and flour, then tied it up in cloth and steamed it for hours. The kitchen would fill with the scent of nutmeg and cinnamon, the windows fogged from the heat of boiling pots. When the pudding emerged, it was heavy, fragrant, and rich, more nourishing than fancy. Suet pudding was the Christmas dessert of settlers, sailors, and survivors, each slice a testament to endurance. Served with a warm sauce or a dollop of cream, it felt like a feast in a time when feasts were rare. It has long vanished from American tables, deemed too old-fashioned, too heavy. Yet somewhere between the steam and the spice, it held the essence of a holiday that valued warmth over show. Carnation instant non-fat dry milk was one of those things Grandma bought weeks before Christmas, and for good reason. It was not just milk, it was insurance. She used it for fudge, pies, puddings, and any recipe that demanded milk when the real thing was already gone. The box sat on her counter, red and white and reliable, a silent promise that no recipe would ever be ruined by shortage. She would mix it into her baking like second nature, measuring without measuring, trusting the habit of her hands. It made everything smoother, richer, more comforting. Sometimes she even added a spoonful to her coffee just because it made her smile. Carnation's powder was part of the rhythm of the season, a symbol of preparation and care. It proved that you did not need much to make Christmas perfect, just foresight, patience, and love. Date nut bread was once the quiet soul of Christmas baking, rich and dark with the scent of coffee and spice. It was baked in small loaf pans, wrapped in wax paper and tied with ribbon before being shared with neighbors and friends. Each slice told a story of thrift and love, sweetened with chopped dates and crunchy walnuts. The Depression-era kitchen was full of such recipes, born not from abundance, but from imagination. Dates added sweetness when sugar was scarce, and nuts stretched the batter further without waste. Served warm with butter or cream cheese, it was both humble and indulgent. Date nut bread was a gift you baked, not bought, and in that act of giving, it became something sacred. Today, it is mostly forgotten, lost among flashier desserts and faster lives. But if you ever taste it again, the deep caramel flavor, the softness, the quiet comfort, you will remember that some of the richest things come from the simplest hands. Scalloped oysters were the pride of seaside Thanksgivings, a dish layered with memory, comfort, and quiet elegance. Fresh oysters were shucked by hand, their salty liquor saved to moisten the layers of buttered cracker crumbs that surrounded them. Every layer glistened with cream, butter, and a touch of black pepper before being baked until the top turned golden and crisp. The aroma filled the house, rich, briny, and buttery all at once, like a meeting of the ocean and the hearth. In the 1800s and early 1900s, this dish symbolized refinement, served in silver dishes at hotels or in simple casseroles on coastal family tables. Each bite was a harmony of textures, the crunch of crumbs, the softness of oysters, and the silken warmth of cream. Inland families would sometimes make it with canned oysters, preserving the flavor even far from the shore. It was indulgence made accessible, a way for modest homes to taste luxury. Over time, as oysters grew expensive and palates shifted toward lighter fare, scalloped oysters slipped quietly from the holiday menu. Yet its spirit remains in old cookbooks, handwritten in fading ink beside notes like Papa's favorite. For those who remember, it was more than food. It was a celebration of place and tradition, a dish that carried the ocean to the table. Knox gelatine packets were the magic behind every shimmering dessert on Grandma's table. Those small envelopes looked unassuming, but they held endless creativity. She used them for molded salads that jiggled with pride and creamy, no-bake cheesecakes that stole the spotlight. The process fascinated everyone, boiling, stirring, waiting for the transformation from liquid to jewel-like solid. Sometimes she would suspend fruit inside, and children would stare, amazed at strawberries floating mid-air. Knox was part science, part art, and all nostalgia. The molded desserts were conversation pieces sparkling under candlelight. No Christmas buffet felt complete without one. In a decade when style mattered as much as taste, Knox gelatine turned simple ingredients into something spectacular. It was proof that even humble packets could make a meal feel like a celebration. Baker's unsweetened cocoa was one of those ingredients Grandma treated like gold. The small tin was always the first thing she bought before the holidays, long before cocoa became trendy again. She used it for hot chocolate, for cakes, and for frostings that tasted like heaven. It had a deep, almost smoky flavor that you could never get from instant mixes. She would whisk it with sugar and milk on the stove, creating cups of comfort for anyone who walked through her door. The smell alone could make a bad day better. For baking, it gave her chocolate cakes that were dense and rich, the kind you could feel in your heart. It was not sweet on its own, but that was the beauty of it. You had to build the sweetness yourself, the same way she built Christmas, one careful touch at a time. Cocktail franks and barbecue sauce were the sticky soul of any 1980s Christmas gathering. They simmered in slow cookers for hours, the sweet smoky scent filling every corner of the house. Made from nothing more than cocktail sausages and bottled sauce, they somehow managed to taste like home. People would gather near the pot, spearing them with toothpicks, each bite warm and addictive. It was the food of laughter and conversation, casual enough for a family gathering, yet loved enough for a corporate one. The sauce clung thickly, the flavor sweet and tangy with just enough spice to make it memorable. By midnight, the pot was always empty, the bottom sticky and scraped clean. Cocktail franks were proof that even the simplest recipe could feel festive when shared. They were bite-sized happiness, a tradition that never went out of style because it never stopped bringing people together. Boiled custard was the quiet forerunner to eggnog, a drinkable dessert that once marked the start of every Southern Christmas gathering. It was rich, silky, and just thick enough to coat the spoon, made from milk, sugar, and eggs whisked gently over low heat until the kitchen filled with the sweet scent of vanilla and cream. Families served it chilled in tall glasses, often dusted with nutmeg or topped with a dollop of whipped cream. Before eggnog's spiced boldness stole the spotlight, boiled custard was the holiday's truest comfort. Simple, pure, and patient. Children sipped it alongside cookies, while adults added a splash of whiskey or rum for warmth. It was a dessert to linger over, slow and soothing, like a lullaby in liquid form. There was no rush in making it. Curdled eggs meant you had hurried, and haste was the enemy of good cooking. Today, few take the time to stir a custard by hand, but those who do say the first spoonful still feels like Christmas morning in a glass. Cocktail franks and barbecue sauce were the sticky soul of any 1980s Christmas gathering. They simmered in slow cookers for hours, the sweet smoky scent filling every corner of the house. Made from nothing more than cocktail sausages and bottled sauce, they somehow managed to taste like home. People would gather near the pot, spearing them with toothpicks, each bite warm and addictive. It was the food of laughter and conversation, casual enough for a family gathering, yet loved enough for a corporate one. The sauce clung thickly, the flavor sweet and tangy with just enough spice to make it memorable. By midnight, the pot was always empty, the bottom sticky and scraped clean. Cocktail franks were proof that even the simplest recipe could feel festive when shared. They were bite-sized happiness, a tradition that never went out of style because it never stopped bringing people together. Knox gelatine packets were the magic behind every shimmering dessert on Grandma's table. Those small envelopes looked unassuming, but they held endless creativity. She used them for molded salads that jiggled with pride and creamy, no-bake cheesecakes that stole the spotlight. The process fascinated everyone, boiling, stirring, waiting for the transformation from liquid to jewel-like solid. Sometimes she would suspend fruit inside, and children would stare, amazed at strawberries floating mid-air. Knox was part science, part art, and all nostalgia. The molded desserts were conversation pieces, sparkling under candlelight. No Christmas buffet felt complete without one. In a decade when style mattered as much as taste, Knox gelatine turned simple ingredients into something spectacular. It was proof that even humble packets could make a meal feel like a celebration. Cherry Divinity wreaths were the kind of candy that felt almost too pretty to eat. Made from whipped sugar syrup and egg whites tinted a soft pink, they were piped into delicate circles and topped with bits of candied cherry to look like miniature wreaths. They dried to a crisp shell, glossy and perfect, the kind of treat meant to impress at church bake sales and family parties. Housewives of the 1950s prided themselves on these: the precision, the patience, the artistry. Every wreath was a little labor of love that demanded steady hands and careful timing. They were arranged on plates or strung with ribbon for decoration, part candy, part craft. Today's confections might be flashier, but few carry the charm of these pastel creations. They represented an age when food doubled as festivity, when every bite was shaped to bring beauty and joy to the table. Tomato aspic was Thanksgiving's strangest star, a savory gelatin molded with tomato juice, onions, and celery. Served chilled and sliced, it was both salad and side, a holdover from when gelatin meant sophistication. Its tangy flavor paired surprisingly well with turkey and dressing, offering brightness amid the richness. Guests either loved it or politely pushed it aside, but it always sparked conversation. In the 1950s, it symbolized elegance, something daring for the dinner table. Housewives followed recipes clipped from magazines, proud of its quivering perfection. Today, it's more curiosity than cuisine, but once it was a badge of culinary ambition. Tomato aspic was a dish of confidence, bold, unusual, and unapologetically of its time. Shrimp cocktail rings were the crown jewel of every 1980s Christmas spread, a shimmering circle of elegance straight from the freezer aisle. Arranged neatly on crushed ice, tails curled in perfect formation, they sat beside a cup of tangy red cocktail sauce that burned just enough to feel grown up. Every host knew presentation mattered. The ring had to sparkle under the dining room light, framed by lemon wedges and sprigs of parsley. It was seafood made accessible, a touch of class on a plastic tray. Kids whispered about how fancy it felt to have shrimp at home, while adults dipped and chatted like movie stars from a commercial. It was the decade when convenience met glamour, and nothing embodied that balance like shrimp cocktail. The taste was cold, sharp, and addictive, a bite of briny sweetness followed by the burn of horseradish. It was both luxury and nostalgia, a dish that told you Christmas had officially arrived. Even after the party ended, that empty ring on the counter felt like a badge of success, the sign of a host who knew exactly how to make the night sparkle. Spiced apple snow was a dessert born from imagination and a few humble ingredients, long before electric mixers or instant puddings ever existed. It was made by beating stewed apples with sugar, spice, and whipped egg whites until it transformed into something light as air, a pale, cloud-like confection with a cinnamon glow. In colonial kitchens, it was considered both elegant and thrifty, a sweet reward after a year of careful preservation. By the 1800s, spiced apple snow graced Christmas tables as a symbol of simplicity done beautifully. It melted on the tongue, cool and fragrant, the kind of dessert that did not overwhelm but lingered softly. Children would watch in awe as apples turned into clouds under their mother's spoons, proof that magic could happen in a bowl. It may have vanished from modern cookbooks, but its spirit remains in every whipped cream topping and apple pie filling we still hold dear. Ritz cracker canapes were elegance on a budget, a chance for suburban hosts to feel like caterers. Each buttery round carried a crown of cream cheese, smoked salmon, or a slice of olive, perfectly portioned and camera-ready. The contrast of textures, crisp cracker, creamy spread, salty topping, was irresistible. They were arranged with precision on silver trays, sometimes sprinkled with paprika for flair. Even the simplest versions looked beautiful under twinkling lights. Guests would pick one up, laugh about how fancy they were, and reach for another. Ritz canapes were 1980s ingenuity at its best, small, smart, and endlessly adaptable. You could find them in every home, from modest kitchens to grand dining rooms, because they required nothing but imagination and a box of crackers. They proved that hospitality didn't need luxury, only love, and a little cream cheese. Ambrosia salad was the jewel of Southern Christmas tables, a shimmering bowl of citrus, coconut, and cream that felt like sunshine in winter. Sliced oranges, pineapple, and cherries were folded into whipped cream or sour cream layered with shredded coconut until it glowed. Every family had its own version. Some added marshmallows, others used gelatin, but all believed it brought brightness to the meal. Ambrosia was about celebration, abundance, and the joy of sharing. It was one of those dishes that looked too pretty to eat, its colors gleaming like stained glass under the dining room lights. Children would sneak spoonfuls before dinner, their fingers sticky with cream and sugar. Served in cut glass bowls, it stood proudly beside the turkey and ham, proof that fruit could feel like a feast. The recipe crossed generations, carrying whispers of grandmother's kitchens and Sunday suppers long past. Over time, it faded into nostalgia, dismissed as old-fashioned, but its spirit still lingers in every creamy fruit salad that comes after. It was sweet, tangy, and a little bit sentimental, just like Christmas itself. In its humble mix of flavors was a reminder that joy often hides in the simplest of bowls. Carrot and raisin salad was sunshine in a bowl, bright, wholesome, and bursting with cheer. It appeared on mid-century Thanksgiving tables like a welcome breath of freshness among casseroles and gravies. Shredded carrots gleamed orange and crisp, their sweetness amplified by plump raisins and a creamy dressing made from mayonnaise, sugar, and sometimes lemon juice. The mix was simple but magical, its sweetness balancing the savory dishes around it. Housewives cherished it for its ease. No cooking, no fuss, just a quick toss and chill. It represented a time when beauty and thrift walked hand in hand, when even the humblest ingredients could create color and joy. Some families added pineapple or coconut for extra brightness, others kept it plain, just as their mothers did. Served in glass bowls or on lettuce leaves, it caught the light like edible sunshine. Children loved it most, eating it between bites of turkey and mashed potatoes, smiling at its sweetness. Over the years, as salads turned green and health trends changed, this cheerful orange classic slipped quietly away. But to those who remember, its taste is pure nostalgia. Afternoons filled with laughter, linoleum floors warm under bare feet, and family gathered close. Carrot and raisin salad wasn't just food, it was happiness served cold. Which forgotten recipe will you bring back this Christmas? Drop your favorite in the comments. Hit like if these memories made you hungry, and subscribe for more vintage holiday treasures worth remembering.